Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Donna. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Sharon and Susan. Nice to have you all here. Yes, so here we are. And then for anyone else that's out there, if you're new to me, because I have done a lot more marketing and I'm on a summit that's coming up next week. So I've definitely had a lot more people visiting my website and coming. If you are new, go ahead and say hello. Shannon, hello. All right. So, anything to report? I'd love to hear issues you're having or questions. Often that's how my classes begin, and I love when you guys share things with me, because when you tell me this is my issue or this is going on for me, then I can bring in different aspects to the practice. And of course, if not, then I can do what I always do. I'm not going to say wing it, because it's really so much more than winging it. It's about focusing on a certain specific area of the body or a specific aspect of what is important for bone health, for healthy aging. And I lump those together because, of course, it's a lot more prevalent in people who are aging. I mean, there are some circumstances when, especially if you have digestive issues like, what is that? Colitis? No, when people have celiac disease. Oh my gosh. Gluten sensitivities. Okay, celiac, right? Yeah, celiac. Whenever there's digestive issues, that can definitely be a contributor for people who are young, but typically it's related to aging and the loss of estrogen, which is very protective for bone health. And so anyway, all right. Well, if there aren't any things in particular, let's go to our spot. Go to wherever it is you practice. I want to share something I've been doing lately. I'm not sure if any of you have more than one mat. I have a lot of mats. Of course, I have a lot of props because I've been teaching for so many years. I've been doubling up my mat lately, which feels really nice. And it's not that I'm having any issues with my joints when I weight bear on them, but there is something so nice about having that extra padding on the surface. So I have two mats here. One thing I would say though is always make sure that you have a sticky mat on the bottom. So something that has traction. And if you purchase those really thick, comfortable mats, they're usually for Pilates and they're very slippery. It's seriously like a banana peel. And I used to, when someone would come into class that was new, I would go over and I'd put my foot on the edge of their mat and do like that to show how slippery it can be. So we want to set ourselves up for success. And if you're going to be doing anything standing on a mat, you want to make sure it's a mat that has really good traction. So that's an important thing to note. Today for the practice, we'll need a blanket, a block, and a strap. And we'll use those. Those are quite common in this practice. And I really want to say as well, as we age, or if we're going to do anything challenging. So even some of the stronger practices I used to do when I was younger and would do some stronger practices, I would use props for those. But if you have any issues in your body and you also, to be safe for balance, to make sure that you have something to help support you, that can also be a really important thing. So we are going to come down on the ground first, because it's actually a really great way to start to align the spine and stretch the postural muscles in a very gentle, nice way. And that's important because this is a major area that I'd like you to really raise your awareness to and really focus in your life on from now on. So my goal is to share a lot of body wisdom with you. A lot of, it's called interoception, feeling and knowing your inner body. Because when you understand how you function and how you're arranged, then you can actually bring that into all activities that you do throughout your day off your mat. And that's what matters, because that's what leads to the wear and tear and the breakdown in our body is our lifestyle and whatever we're doing throughout our day. So we're going to come down onto the ground, and we are going to use a blanket to help deepen this aspect of stretching our spine. And to just give a little bit of awareness here, we have 26 vertebrae. 2 of them are embedded in the pelvis, right here in the back of the pelvis. And then you have 24 that are movable and mobile, that have a natural pattern in them. And then whatever you're doing throughout your day, most of us are very forward in our lives. And so then you get tight and contracted in the front of the body, and we lose the tone in the back of the body. So a lot of the work we do when it comes to bone health is to strengthen the specific muscles that will hold the bones in proper alignment, which will help not take more minerals out of your bones, but also that supportive postural position is better for fall prevention and injury prevention. So let's take your blanket, and you're going to open up your blanket pretty long and wide. I'd like this to be as long as your torso. That's why we're opening it to the wider spot. And I actually think that what we're going to do here is one of the best ways to do a postural realignment. It's a great restorative posture. It's a great way to really open up the front of the body, and especially deeply the spine and the spinal muscles. And most of us have access to a blanket. So it's something that you don't have to have anything fancy for. So take your blanket pretty long, and then start to roll it into a tube. Roll the blanket, and then bring that onto your mat. Now, for some of you, especially if you know that you have posture in the upper trunk that is rounded, if you have any rounding in your posture, if you've done a wall test for your posture and your head doesn't go all the way back to the wall when you're standing against the wall, if that's you're going to need something else to support your head. And this is a good way to start to take an assessment of where you are posturally, because if you can eventually get to a place where you don't need any more support at your head, then you are correcting your posture deep in your spine, especially your thoracic spine, which is the part of the spine that has the most fractures from osteoporosis. So let's put the blanket there. Now I'm sitting away from this, right? Here's the blanket. I'm going to come all the way up to it, and then I'm going to come down onto the ground. So I'm not on it. I'm going to come on it now and put your body on so that my tushy is off the blanket. So here's, everything's dark, so you probably can't see, but my tushy is actually on the floor, and the blanket starts the back of my spine. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and feel the blanket supporting your spine. And keep your knees bent. It's nice to start at least with knees bent, even if you eventually straighten your legs. It's good to start with your knees bent because it allows the pelvis to move with the stretch and not put any extra pressure in the low back. Allow the blanket to be behind your head. Now here's where you may need more support. You may need to put something underneath your neck. See if that's you. This is to stretch the spine, to stretch the muscles of the spine, especially the thoracic, the 12 vertebrae where the ribs are attached, which is where many get scoliosis in the upper trunk, or stenosis starts to happen in the neck. So if you have any of those diagnoses, that's affecting the curvature, either the rotation of the spine or a narrowing of the spinal column. We want to have everything unobstructed and open and in its neutral or natural position. So this may seem like I'm not doing much, but in actuality, this is really powerful for bone health, for posture, for alignment. And then when you're here, take your arms out to the side. And this is where you're going to start to feel now your pectoral or your chest muscles and your deltoids, which are your shoulder muscles. Parts of you that gets tight and contracted from the forward presentation that you're in most of your day. So reach your arms, close your eyes, explore bringing in the deepest stretch that feels appropriate for your body. You can either have your arms straight or bend your elbows. Explore where it feels the best for you. And then close your mouth. Let the back teeth separate. And start to bring the breath down to the chest. Mouth is closed. Breathing to your chest. So you're now starting to stretch even more the rib cage, which is going to stretch the thoracic spine. And I'd like you to breathe in and back towards your spine. You're breathing in, you're breathing back to your spine. Bring your awareness to your sacrum, which is the end of the spine and the pelvis. Push your pelvis to the floor. Maybe even push your low back towards the lower part of the blanket. Continue to breathe deeply in your chest. Use breath strongly to feel stretch in your body. If you'd like to explore straightening the legs, do it one at a time with the eyes closed to make sure it feels okay for your back. And then if you're able to reach your arms a little higher, move into a higher position if that's okay for your body. And then pay attention to your body, to the different sides of your body. Notice where you feel the stretch and see if you feel that on the other side with the same intensity or at all. If you're able to move your arms up higher or wider, do what you can to create even more stretch sensation. Let's do a little bit of movement here to stretch the shoulder girdle, which is the upper part of your body that matters for posture and balance and for supporting the head. We're going to start to move the arms around the floor, actually off the floor if you can, unless on the floor feels better for you. So you choose what feels appropriate for you. You inhale when your arms come up overhead. You exhale when your arms come down. Inhale up. And exhale down. You exhale when your arms come down. You inhale when they go up.
And then bring your hands behind your head. Clasp your hands behind your head and try to reach your elbows towards the ground. So this is very deep. It may look like it's super simple, but to actually be bringing in spinal extension and then starting to move your arms when your shoulder blades are kind of locked down. It's a really deep stretch, really important for posture, for alignment, for balance, for fall prevention, for healthy aging, and for happiness. So press your elbows towards the floor. Try to create as much sensation of a stretch in the chest area in front of the shoulders that feels appropriate for you, maybe even in your neck, the upper back. Really stretching structural muscles here, supportive muscles of your skeleton. And use the breath in the chest, because as you breathe and the rib cage expands and contracts, that actually moves the spine because the ribs are attached to the 12 vertebrae on the spine. So use breath to help accentuate the stretch. And then we're going to do a little rocking action. So can you slightly tilt towards the right to push the right elbow towards the ground or touching the ground? And then over to the left, push the left elbow to the ground or towards. Notice if you feel more of a stretch. For me, it's definitely back by my shoulder blades. And I also feel stuff underneath my armpits. And I feel something on one side of my neck. So hopefully you're experiencing a stretch. This is pretty deep and very structural. It's very on the skeleton. It's not the big movers. These are the muscles that are supportive. And then push both elbows towards the floor. And then you're going to bring your head onto the blanket. Let your arms go down to the side. Let's bend our knees if they're not bent already. Let your knees fall into each other. Feet are wider than the body. And then you're going to start to let your head go side to side. So you are elevated on a structure here. Close your eyes. You'll get a deeper stretch here because there's the rolling off of the edge, which allows for, and you're with gravity pushing down. You're elevated away from the ground. So there's actually a greater opportunity to get some cervical spine rotation. Make sure your neck feels okay when you do this. So I like to close my eyes to feel inside my body. The next time you come to one side, stay there. Deep rest to your body. Inhale, come back up to center, and exhale to the other side. Deep breaths. And your next inhale, bring yourself back up to center. Walk your feet a little bit closer to your body. Kneecaps are up towards the sky. Open your eyes. Then bring your arm and roll off the blanket onto your side, but make sure you feel the blanket back by your spine. So feel that it's still back there. And then you're going to take your hand of the top that's up and you're going to put it behind your head. Then cradle your head in your other hand. You could clasp your hands behind your head if that feels okay. And then bring your knees up so your knees come directly off of the pelvis and let them rest on each other. And if this is uncomfortable, you could put a blanket or a pillow between your knees. You're going to take this upper hand and we're going to go clockwise. You're going to bring your hand above your head and reach, and then start to roll the palm open. Begin your inhale and reach as long as you can. Feel that stretch in your shoulder. When you come towards the hips, palm goes down, begin your exhale. So make it be with breath. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Last one. Go the opposite direction. You're going to exhale down and then inhale when you come to your hips. Really reach your palm up, open your hand. You are going to stretch your wrist, stretch your arm. Really big stretch can happen here. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your hand in front of you, right in front of the shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, come up. When you get right above you, slide your shoulder blade towards your spine. So the hand could reach away from you and you could slide your shoulder blade. The arm stays straight, not bending my arm. I'm actually sliding my shoulder blade back towards the spine. So slide your shoulder blade back towards the spine. Hand is open and continue to open. This is your inhale. And then your exhale, you come back. You inhale. Once you get right above you, slide your shoulder blade towards your spine, open. Feel that blanket at the back of your body when you come into this opening. And then one more we're going to hold. Stay here. Really try to create space in the waist, this top waist. Push the pelvis away from you with the muscles inside your body. Feel the stretch wherever you feel it. I feel this in my wrist, the hand that's over here. I feel this in my wrist. I feel it in my armpit. I feel it in my elbow, and I actually feel it in my posterior hip capsule, which is right here. And it could be because this is the side of my body I have a hip replacement on, or it could be that it's also stretching my lower body, and I'll know more when I go to the other side. So just notice what you notice in your body, because it's nice to notice the difference between side to side, and it's a way for you to either address issues you have or stop things from happening if they're happening that we need to manage. Take an inhale and then exhale, bring your hand back. We're going to bring ourselves now to the other side. I'm going to roll to the other side, so you're going to see my back, but this way you can see the back part of this. You're going to bring yourself, hand above your head, bring yourself all the way off to the side. Keep the blanket is behind your spine. And then draw your knees up so your knees come directly off of your pelvis. They're not low down. You want to bend your knees. Then bring one hand behind one head, one the other. Then you're going to take that hand straight up and towards the sky. We're going to go clockwise at first. Right? Yes. So take an exhale, inhale, and then exhale. Bring your hand forward. When your hand gets to your body, you're going to inhale to open up your palm and bring your hand around. Exhale, when you get above you, palm goes down towards the ground. Go as big as you can with your circle. Inhale. Notice if you feel the bones moving around in your body. This is isolating the shoulder joint on this upper arm. So for those of you with shoulder issues, pay attention. Only move in the safe range of motion for yourself. I will say that a lot are able to actually do this because the gravity is actually pushing the shoulder joint closer to the capsule and not pulling it down towards the ground like it usually does. So many are actually able to do a lot of shoulder work in this position that they're not able to do in a seated or standing position. One more. Coming up to the top, take a inhale, And then exhale. And then inhale, go the opposite way. Palm is up towards the sky. Palm goes down towards the ground as you exhale to come forward. Inhale. Exhale. Take one more. And then bring yourself so that your arm is in front of you, long and in front of you. Exhale. Inhale, lift your arm up. When you get right above you, slide the shoulder blade towards your spine and open as far as you can. Feel the stretch wherever you feel it. Exhale to come back. Inhale, reach your hand up. Slide the shoulder blade to the spine. Open, open, open. And then bring yourself back. One more. You inhale to open. Slide the shoulder blade to the spine. Stay here. And then create space on that waist. Really push that top pelvis away from you, inside your body with your muscles. Notice where you feel the stretch here. Compare that to the other side. And for me, I still feel this in my forearm, in my thumb, in my armpit. And I do feel it in the posterior hip capsule here. Not as intense as I did on the other side. And then you can use your breath, breathing to the right or whatever side is on the top. For me, this is the right side. So breathe to this top side and you can deepen that stretch, maybe in the armpit area or wherever you're feeling it. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Bring yourself all the way out. And then we're going to bring ourselves up. So you're going to take your hand on the floor using your pushing muscles. You're going to push away from the floor. Don't lift your head. Push, push, push. Don't pull. And bring yourself all the way up. Let's take our blanket. So I'd like to say that stretch that we just did, I'm not able to communicate with you here to find out how it is for you. I'd love to hear from you, though, if you remember to write this down and then let me know. Really important for this part of our body to become supported, to become strong, to stretch it. Really, really important. And that practice that we just did there was a great way to stretch deep, deep, small muscles that are stabilizing your joints. And that's so important for so many things, especially for osteoporosis or for your bone health. So go ahead, take your blanket, fold your blanket. We're going to come into this posture we're going to do now. It's called plank. And this will strengthen the front of our body. So we just stretched the whole front of the body. And we're going to come in now and strengthen the front of our body. We're going to do a plank pose. I'm going to hold this for a minute. This is a power pose. And this is something that is a strong pose or posture that actually strengthens a lot of muscles at once. So it's a great way to maintain your strength in your life. And there's ways to modify this. So don't just not do this because you can't do the full version. Do whatever version you can do. So in its simplest form, you could keep your lower legs on the floor and walk your hands forward and then bring your body weight forward so that your shoulders are right above your wrists and your hands. This is a modification, and this may be where you are. From here, if you're feeling pretty good, you could flip your toes under and take your legs off and come into the full plank position. When you're here, it's better to have your hands underneath your shoulders so that you're very supported. So make sure that you have stacked joints of wrists, elbows, and shoulders. And then spread your fingers and press your fingers into the floor, because that will help to take away that pressure that you may experience in your wrists. Then take your legs and have your legs be not too far apart, but not touching. And then push your heels back. There's a movement here. Try to do the forward and back. You can actually distribute your weight here, forward and back. So really push your weight back so that you're managing this in more parts of your body. Push away from the floor with your hands. Push away from the floor with your feet. And if your lower legs are on the floor, push away from your shins, your knees, your feet. And then take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Noticing that, notice all of that in your body. So that was a minute. I actually prefer to do this with breath and count. I do a 5 breath plank, which is close to probably a minute for me. When I go into a 2-minute plank, it becomes faster paced breath because there's more muscular action. Fantastic posture to bring into your life to help support posture, balance, alignment, and super amazing for bone health. So make sure your blanket is closer to the bottom edge of your mat, not so high up. And then you're going to bring your knees to the very edge of your mat, flatten your toes, and then take your hands forward. Keep your head up. Where the head goes, the spine follows. So if I let my head go down, the next part of me that will round is my upper spine. So do not let your head go down. Keep your head up. And that's part of it, because it takes work to keep your head up. Take your hands so that they are as wide as your mat. Let your pointer fingers be on your mat and your thumbs be on your mat. Toenails are touching the mat. And then I want you to start to bend your elbows. This is a challenge. This is a challenge. You're going to bend your elbows, keep your head up, bend your elbows, keep your head up, and then lower all the way down. Plopping at the end of that may be what you do initially, or you could try to lower down. I was going to say with a bolster. You could practice doing that with a bolster. Move yourself back so that your pelvis is on the blanket, and then take your hands out to the side like this. Have them pretty high, and then flatten your toes. Your elbows are pretty high, so don't have your elbows down low. Have your elbows high. Forehead rests on top of your back of your hand. Walk your toes together so the big toes touch. Push the feet into the floor. Feel that the back of the body, some of the stabilization of your low back and pelvis, those muscles turn on. Take an exhale. Inhale, push your arms into the ground. Lift your head away from your hands. Lift your ribs away from the floor. Try to lift the head and the torso as one unit. So don't let it be just your head that lifts up. And if you can't get that high, it's okay. Inhale to lift. Imagine you're a kitten and the mama cat is lifting you up by the nape of the neck. So it's really the upper back where the neck begins that you want to be what rises. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Push your pinky toenails into the ground. Your knees could be off. See if you feel a stretch in your belly or even on one side. Last one, come up, stay up. Inhale and exhale to lower. Take your hands alongside your body. Let your forehead touch the ground. Let your nose touch the ground. Elbows are at shoulder height if you can. And if that's too much, you can lower your arms down. And the hands are off the mat. So don't have your hands closer to your body than your elbows. Your wrists are right on top of your elbows. Exhale. Inhale, lift yourself up by the nape of your neck. Exhale to lower. Close your eyes. Feel the muscles along your spine contract to lift you up. Exhale, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more breath. Inhale to lift. Stay here. One more breath. And then lower all the way down. Bring your hands so that your thumbs are touching the mat. Your hands are about armpit height if you have pretty good range of motion. If you don't, you can let your hands go up a little higher. So hands lower by the armpits or higher if you need. Forehead touches the ground. Elbows stay low. Don't let your elbows go up. Let the entire palm of the hand touch the ground. Exhale. Inhale. Reach your spine long. Push your hands into the floor. Drag your hands back towards your feet and lift yourself up and exhale to lower. Your head could be a little bit higher than your body here, but let this mostly be the back muscles contracting to lift you up away from the floor. Cobra. Push your hands down, drag your hands back, keep your elbows low and feel those muscles working. One more, bring yourself up, stay up. Wherever you are, take your hands off. If you lower down, stay in the lower down position, put your hands back, push your hands into the ground, drag your hands back towards your feet, push your heart forward. On your next exhale, lower down. Take your forehead to the floor, bring your hands all the way alongside your body. So for the beginner version, you could keep your thumbs touching your body, arms are long. And if you have a stronger practice, you could take your hands, clasp your hands. You may need to slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Try to get the palms towards touching. They may touch or not. Toenails touch, knees lift off the floor. Take an exhale and then inhale to lift up and away from the floor. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. This is locust. So you either have your hands unclasped along the side of your body or you clasp them. Your legs don't have to touch here. Reach nice and long with your legs. Soles of the feet are pointing up towards the sky. Long head, long legs, long arms. The whole back body is turning on to lift you up against gravity. Strengthening the back of your body. And on your next exhale, lower yourself down. Let's take your head to one side. Let your arms go down alongside your body. Widen your legs, bend your knees, and let your legs go side to side. If your head to the side is agitated, you could take your arm out to the side. That might help release the tension. Then tuck your chin down toward your chest. Lift your head. Turn your head to the other direction. And if you need to take your arm out to the side, you can. Go ahead, let your legs go down. Bring your hands back up. Fold your hands. Rest your head on the back of your hands. This is a nice way to release the low back, release the upper back, head, and neck. So it releases the spine and it supports the weight of the head. So this is a good place to take a break if you're having upper back and neck tension. And then I'd like you to bring your awareness to your belly and start to breathe down to your belly. So you breathe to your belly, you feel your belly pushing towards your low back. This will help to take out some of the tension that may be in the low back area. Take 5 big breaths to your low belly.
Take one more breath. Finish up the breath you're on.
Then you're going to bring yourself up into Sphinx to stretch the front belly. So bring your elbows directly underneath your shoulders, forearms are on the floor, palms are open. Walk your feet back towards each other, or actually even maybe a little bit wider than your body, because that can be nice and releasing for the low back. Then you're going to bring your awareness to your heart and to your lower ribs. Push into the floor to lift your heart and your lower ribs away from the floor, and then push your heart forward. Feel how that stretches the belly area, stretching the upper psoas, which is one of the hip flexors, stretching the abdominals, and then holding the head up here takes a lot of work. So strengthening the upper back and neck muscles. Then bring your nose so it points straight in front of you. So don't have your nose up here, nose straight in front of you. And then start to rotate to look towards one heel and then the other. Feel the stretch where you feel the stretch. And then bring yourself back. Take one hand nice and long and come onto your side. Take your hand, bring your hand in front of you, and you're going to push yourself. Don't lead with your head. Lead with your hand pushing away. Bring yourself up. Go ahead, take a break for a second. So in whatever seated position that is, if you could still bend your knees and sit on your heels, do that. If not, you could come into a crisscross leg position or something else. I'd like you to just come here, close your eyes, slide your elbows underneath your shoulders, bring your awareness to your spine, to your back. Notice what you notice in the back of your body. Lots of spinal strengthening and lots of healthy spinal movement so far, whether that's strengthening or lengthening. And then blink your eyes open. So definitely a focus on posture today and balance and fall prevention by strengthening and lengthening the upper body. So I'd like us to do a rotation now. So come off your blanket and fold your blanket in two. And if you happen to be not very limber, then I would fold the blanket again and sit on top of that. So if you need that extra padding, do that over here. And then we're going to need our block. So you're going to come to your blanket. You're going to reach underneath and take the buttocks, move the buttocks back and be near the front of your blanket. I'd actually first like you to take your strap, and for this I am going to let you lasso your feet. I usually don't let you lasso your feet, but in this position, if you were to reach all the way forward to your feet, most do not have a lot of flexibility to do that. So what would happen is you'd round your spine, put a lot of compressive force in the front of your spine, which is something we do not want to do if you have osteoporosis. So go ahead and get your feet with your strap. Try to keep your heart and your throat open when you do that. And then have your feet be hip distance, which is about 4 inches distance in the toes. And then hopefully you have a long enough strap that you could grab the edges so that the elbows come in alongside your body. Your feet are not touching. Your toes are pulling towards you. You could be a little high by your toes, but if it's too intense in the calves, then go down to the arch. Draw the strap towards you to help support you sitting up in a nice position. So this is Dandasana, staff posture. And we're using the strap, but we're still getting a lot of action in the upper body. Pull your heart forward or push your heart forward. Pull your hands back. Elbows are in alongside your body. Push your legs towards the ground and notice how that really allows you to move your spine a little bit more freely. Now let's see, can you drop the strap And can you bring your arms up into a scarecrow position? Or can you take your hands down alongside you? So scarecrow or alongside you. Push your legs down and get nice and tall. Chin is parallel towards the ground. And then even look up a little bit and push your hands back. So you get a little more support here. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other like you're pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Push your legs down into the ground. Embrace the strengthening taking place in your body. So your head is not lifting too much. You don't want to feel too much tension in the back of the neck. You want to strengthen it, but not too crazy. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, take that tension out. Take the strap off to the side. Bring the block. I'm going to go to my right side, so I'll speak to that. If you could come to your right side, then you'll be able to follow along. Take the block behind you and bend your right leg. Take your left hand onto your leg. Let your elbow bend and be out to the side so that you can push down and get nice and tall and find that real nice spinal alignment. Leg is pressing into the ground. Foot is pressing into the ground. Take an exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. It's more about your torso than it is about your head. Push your feet into the ground. Deep breaths here, down to your belly. Keep pushing into the block. The elbow is bent that's on the block. You're using it to lengthen your spine, not to rest on. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. You could keep the block there, push it over to the other side. Straighten the right leg, bend the left leg. Hold on to the left leg with the right hand and take the left hand on the block behind you. Push down to get tall. So you go from here, you push the block and it helps you lengthen. Push your legs into the ground, hold on to that left leg. Exhale, and then inhale, lower ribs, middle, and upper. Move to the left. Deep breaths to your belly. Keep your right leg very active. Your left foot is active. Bend the elbow of the hand that you're pushing away from the ground with or the block with. Make this be your torso is rotating, not your head. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. Take the block back off to your side. Take your legs, shake your legs. And then bend your legs. You're sitting on your blanket. Have your legs be pretty far apart. Moving a little bit here in internal, external rotation. So that femur bone can move quite a bit here. You don't really have to move your tushy too much. You're just rolling from one buttock to the other. Deeply stretching your hips. And make sure your chest doesn't cave. So make sure you're not caving your chest. You're not pushing on the front of your spine. You're always lifting and opening the front of your spine. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's come all the way up. So we're going to come up to the standing part of the practice, and for that we'll use a chair and a block. And of course that depends on which one you need or if you need it. So I'm actually going to do a plank down dog flow and then stand, which is a little bit of a stronger way to get up. For some of you that might not be good. So let's all come to our blanket. And I'm going to give an option to those that would rather not go to a plank, down dog, which is a lot of hip joint bending. And then practicing getting up with a flat spine or a neutral curved spine. So for those of you that are going to get up like this, Bring your weakest leg forward. If you know that you're pretty good at the other side, then bring the weakest leg forward. Or if it's a real challenge for you to get up, still use your strongest leg and eventually start to use the weakest. Right here is your power, your glutes. So you're going to flip the back toes under, come forward, push like crazy here, pushing away from the floor to come up to standing. If you're going to come up like that. And if you're going to do the down dog plank, take your hands forward, widen your knees, flip your toes under. You want to never round your spine, right? So this part of our spine, we're not going to close off. You're going to keep your heart open, walk your hands back a little bit. Knees are going to bend and hips are going to bend. Let's push away from the floor, bending the hips really deeply so the low belly comes towards the hips. Now we can really get a great stretch of the calves. So look forward where your hands are so your spine is staying nice and long. And one at a time, press the heel towards the floor to really stretch those calves. Hips stay bent, and that's going to protect your spine. And then if you want to push both towards the ground, you can. Little intense. And then walk your feet back a little bit. Inhale, bring yourself forward into your plank. Exhale, push your belly button up. You could bend your knees slightly. The real movement here is in the hip joint. You go from straight hips to bending your hips. Straight hips to bending your hips. Last one, stay here. Let's take your hands, walk your hands back, keep your head up, and then bend your knees like crazy, bend your hips like crazy. Take your legs pretty wide. So for me, I'm actually off the mat at this point with my feet, and my spine is staying nice and neutral. I'm really focusing on opening the front of the spine, opening my heart, really trying to pull my lower ribs away from my pelvis, pushing my heart forward. And then take one hand at a time on top of your thighs. Gaze is always forward, head is always forward. Push your body weight back here into your heels. And then you're going to push away from the floor and you're going to unbend slowly, slowly, slowly to bring yourself up. And then bring yourself all the way up to a standing position. And now it's time to clean up your space, bending your hips and your knees. Clean up your space. We're going to bring the strap. Let's take our strap. Take your strap overhead. A nice way to stretch the upper body is to have a strap. So bring your strap. If you bring your legs together, this is also going to be a little bit balance challenge. Do a little lateral movement side to side with your strap. And because you are pulling on the strap, you're actually firing up some of those support muscles. So it actually does help a little bit with balance here. And then bring yourself up, bring your strap behind you so you stretch your shoulders, your chest, lift your heart. And then if you can, bring the strap down. You can have your elbows bent here. Do a little side to side, not much, especially if your legs are together. Rotating your trunk right where your shoulders are. Think about your shoulders moving. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your strap off. Get your chair if you're going to get a chair. Chair and a block. Go ahead and put those there. So let's come into the posture of alignment known as Tadasana, the posture that is believed to be in almost all other yogic postures is Tadasana. So here, the closer your feet are, so if the toes are touching, it's a little bit more challenging to find that balance in the body. So you could have your toes touching, or you could be about 4 inches apart, backs of the heels a little farther apart than the toes. So you decide what's right for you. Then you take your hands down alongside your body and push them back so that they are along the sides. Reach down like you have weights on your fingers. And then keep your shoulders away from your ears. So no shoulder earrings, nice long neck. Grab the floor with the feet. Feel the left foot
The front of the foot, the toes, the middle, the back. Feel the right foot, the front of the toes, the middle and the back. Push the top of your thighs back. Lift the pubis bone, which is the base of your pelvis, up towards your ribs, lower ribs. Gently contract the midsection like you're a tube of toothpaste. Squeeze, 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 and lift that up towards your ribs. And then find alignment in your head. Push your head back. Chin stays parallel to the floor. Push your hands back. Reach your fingers down nice and long, heavy. Lift your heart. And then take some deep breaths. Closing your eyes if that feels okay for you. Take one more breath. So from here, take the tension out of your arms, so not reaching down so heavy. Bring the arms a little lower along the side of your body, and then bring your hands onto your waist. Elbows move back. Push your body weight onto the side. I'm going to go to my left foot because I know that's my weaker leg. So if you have a weaker leg, I'd like to say go there. Come onto your tippy toes of the opposite leg. Let your knee go out to the side. Now that's important. You don't want your knee forward. Try to bring as much external rotation into this hip as possible. Then bring the foot up in between the knee and the ankle. And then you're going to push the foot into the leg into the foot, and push away from the ground. Lengthen your spine. Look forward and choose something that does not move or something for you to focus on. Take one more breath. And you're going to slowly bring your knee forward, bring yourself down. So dismounting nice and gracefully. Feet pointing forward, long neck, elbows moving back. You're going to push your body weight onto your other side. Come onto your tippy toes. Move the knee out to the side quite a bit, as much as you can. And then bring the foot up in between the knee and the ankle. Push the foot into the leg into the foot. Push away from the ground and find balance in your body. And then find your focal point. Take one more breath. And then slowly come out, bringing the knee forward. Come all the way out. Let's come onto the triangle. So you're going to take your legs really wide. Now, using a chair here, some of you may be able to use a block. The goal of this is to keep the low body nice and straight, and to make sure you're bending at your hip and not your spine. So that's what's really matters here for this. Take your foot, bring your foot underneath the chair, and then bring the heel back away from you. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. Reach your hands long. Exhale. Now here we can strengthen our posture. Inhale like you're going through a vat of honey. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Bring your arms up. Keep your neck nice and long. No shoulder earrings. Lower your shoulders. Look over your middle finger. And then reach long. Reach up and long so you could really bend your hip here. And then bring yourself down onto the chair. So you bring in that tension from that flexion in the hip. Bring your hand forward and spiral your chest forward. This is going to put pressure in the lumbar area. So strengthening the lumbar spine, adding that rotational force. Push your feet into the floor. For those of you that can bend your waist a little bit more, not your spine, but not bend your waist, not your spine, not your waist, but bend your hip joint more to keep that nice long spine. Coming down onto the ground, onto a block. Push away from the floor and get as long as you can in your spine. Push your heart forward. Rotate your upper trunk. Create tension in the hips, pelvis, spine. Take one more breath. Keep your front leg straight. Reach nice and long and slow and bring yourself back up. Going really slow to come in and out makes this even more intense and a stronger practice for your joints, for your bones, for your muscles. So be okay with slow. Slower is harder. Take your legs really wide. Bring yourself to the other side. Legs are wide. Take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Hands are down. Bring the front toes under the chair and the back heel away from the chair. With tension, you're going to exhale and then inhale. Really resist. Feel the muscles in the arms work to lift the arms up. Look over that middle finger as you reach long and up, bending your hip joint. And then bringing your hand on top of the chair. Long spine, bring yourself into triangle. If you'd like to go down, bend the hip a little more. Spiral your chest forward, create that tension in the spine. Take one more breath. And then you're going to push your feet into the floor. Bring yourself up slowly, slowly, slowly. And go ahead and shake yourself, shake your limbs. And then you're going to move your chair back. Go ahead and get your blanket and your strap. And then you're going to bring yourself down. So from the standing position, bend your hip, bend your knees, bring yourself down. You know, and for those of you that have knee issues and are having trouble bending your knees and are noticing more knee issues, that's the front of the body. It's the biggest joint in the body. And if you're very forward in your movement, whether you're forward in your feet or you're forward in your upper body throughout your day, you're putting so much force into that knee. So whenever you could be in the back of the body, whenever you can bring your upper body up or back or be in your heels, you want to do that to protect and maintain the health of your knees. So let's come all the way down onto the ground. Take your strap, bring the right foot up, take the strap in the arch, the right foot. Let's do the Supta Padangusthasana, which is the big toe stretch. Take your hands, wrap your hands around. Now let's make this a really strong stretch. Pull your leg down into the socket so you feel that action. And then you could straighten the opposite leg if that works for you. Firm up the muscles of the leg, push the leg away from you, and then keep the knee straight as you draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Make sure that leg is straight. For osteoporosis, we want a straight leg. You do not want to bend in your leg. Doesn't matter how far back you go. If you're not able to get that far back, then keep your knee bent. Might make it a little easier for you. Firm up the right leg. Push the leg away from you with the muscles, and then draw the leg back towards the wall behind you. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend that leg. Let's take the other leg. Draw the other leg up, the left leg. Take the strap in the arch. Hold on to the strap. Firm up your grip. Pull that leg down so you feel it deeply rooted in the socket. And then lengthen the right leg if you're going to, if that makes sense for you. Pull your leg down, firm up the leg, push the leg away from you, and now guide the leg towards the wall behind you.
really pulling back and pushing away at the same time. Lots of stimulation. Take one more breath. And go ahead and bend that leg, take that strap off. We're going to come into the bridge posture. So grab your block. Bring your block between your knees. Reach up to take the blanket and move the blanket away from you. Then you're going to press your arms into the ground to lift your shoulder blades away from the floor and slide the shoulder blades towards the spine. Then lift your head up, tuck your chin down towards your chest. So we use our arms here to help support and push away from the floor in the upper spine. And we want to get that back bend. We want to open up the vertebra in the front of the spine and lengthen the hip flexors, which are attached to the lower spine. So you can either take your arms long alongside your body, or if you're newer to the practice and not quite as strong in the back of your body, it's better for you to use your elbows bent to let your upper arm bones help to push away from the floor. So choose what's appropriate for you. Walk your feet as close as you can get them to your body. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, and then press the low back towards the floor. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy. Lengthen the neck, close your eyes. Inhale to lift your tushy away from the floor. Squeeze tushy, squeeze the block. Lift, lift, lift. Close your eyes. Feel your rib cage come away. Feel the front of your spine open, open, open. Press the heart towards your forehead so you really open up where the heart is. And then press your arms into the ground to help push away from the floor. Squeeze the block. Lengthen the knees away from you. Try to unbend your hips. Strengthening the back of your body, strengthening your spine. Take one more breath. And slowly, slowly close your eyes. Press one vertebra at a time down towards the ground. Lift your heels off as you get closer to your low back. Feel that stretch in the low spine. Take your blanket out. Your block out and bring your blanket back. And draw your knees into your chest. So we're going to do our last posture of the day, which is Shavasana. Letting everything we just did settle into the body. Let the new range of motion you brought into your joints sink in and become a new memory in your body. So creating new memories with each practice you do. And bringing yourself into Shavasana. You could do your traditional body extended position, or if something else like legs at the wall or legs at the chair sounds good, go ahead and do that. Close your eyes, stay in the moment, stay here and now. mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde 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 mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame. Gently begin to deepen your breath. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And slowly bending one knee and then the other. And then draw one leg into your chest and then the other. Give yourself a low back pelvis massage. And then roll to the side. Take your hand and you're going to push yourself up to a seated position. take your hands, rub your hands together. So still stay in the closed eyes place that you're in. Let's take our hands, bring our hands together at our chest. Bring your awareness to your spine, the back of your spine, to your upper back, to your head, to your neck, and to your body. Noticing what you notice. We'll close the practice with a sound, a hum. So take a big exhale to create space. Inhale. Bowing in gratitude. Namaste. Today's practice definitely had a lot to do with posture, with upper body. There was actually 10 poses that were specifically held for 30 seconds to stimulate bone growth, especially a lot of attention actually everywhere, right? So we did the spine, we did the pelvis, the low back. Hopefully you choose what's appropriate for you because that's really important. And every day push and pull and stretch your bones out so they will get stronger for you. They won't get stronger for you unless you do that. So push and pull and stretch them out safely. All right. Have a great day. It's true, they do not get stronger. There's not a way to get them stronger unless you get stronger muscles, stronger, you pull on them and push on them. All right. Carolyn, good morning. I saw that someone else arrived. I just didn't know who it was. So any questions anyone has? I am there's a summit next week, Natural Approaches for Osteoporosis and Bone Health. Starts on Monday. Amazing speakers. I want to say up to 40. And I'm one of them. I am on the last day, the 23rd, not because I'm last, but that's just the way that they put up the thing. And I'm speaking about root causes because I'm a health coach and I run functional labs to get to digestive and dysbiosis and other issues that could be contributing to bone loss physiologically and biochemically. Hi, Patty. So go to my website, debbierobinson.com, DEBI Robinson.com. And on the top bar, I've got a link there for you to sign up. And you get to attend every day watching all free talks. DebbieRobinson.com. You could actually purchase it and own it forever. There's amazing people. I mean, there's some great gluten talks there, and there's really great speakers on this summit. So you should go sign up, and then you'll start watching it next Monday, and we can discuss things. I can answer questions. Great, Carolyn. You're welcome. Good. Yes, lots of stretching today and strength too. Carol, good. Patty, I like that little creature. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful Thursday. Good. Yeah, a lot of good spine stretching today too, which is so important, right? And a lot of upper body. All right. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, ladies, or men if you're out there. Steve is here quite often. Steve, if you're there, hi. All right. Have a beautiful day.